Yeah, I've done it. I finally bought an iPhone. So welcome back here to my YouTube channel. I'm Simone Bertolotti and today we'll finally talk about this new thing, the iPhone 14 Pro. I've been using this iPhone in the last weeks and yeah, I had quite some problems, but before talking about this, I want to tell you why I decided to switch from Android to iPhone. And in fact, in the last couple of years, I've been using this Xiaomi Mi 11 Lite, which is a base medium model Android phone, but the real two reasons why I switched to iPhone are first of all for the ecosystem, since apart from this iPhone, I already own an iPad and a MacBook, so the iPhone is basically the center of the ecosystem. And the second reason why I decided to switch to iPhone is for the camera. In fact, in my previous Android phone, the camera wasn't that great, and so having an iPhone 14 Pro and in general an iPhone is better and is definitely way better, and so it gives me lots of possibilities on the camera side, and for me that I love taking photos and videos, this is so important. But as I said before, in this first week of using of the iPhone, I've had quite some problems, and so I was even at the point of saying, okay, so I need to give it back and ask for another model since this one doesn't work properly. The first sort of issue I've noticed is about the battery. In fact, after a few days I received this iPhone, I went on holiday and so I had the chance to test it for about 3 weeks away, and every day I found myself in a situation in which I couldn't make it sometimes till evening with the battery, and that was a bit strange because sometimes I use it only maybe for navigation and for the camera, but the battery wasn't great at all. So it's not, I would say, bad overall, but it's not something really exciting and it's not the best battery on the world for sure. The second negative thing I found about the iPhone is the overheating. So I have to be honest, I know that all the iPhone, especially during the summer, have quite some problems in overheating, but I found myself in lots of times during the day this summer that the iPhone was completely hot. I could still use it, so it's not something critical at all, but I hope that during the winter I will not have this problem. And now, apart from all those two stupid problems, the most important issues I had with this iPhone 14 Pro are on the camera. In fact, the first one is that when I got the iPhone, I saw that the bumps of the camera are so big. I knew they were big, but I didn't expect them to be that big, and so I just decided to buy a little glass protection just to put it on the cameras. But after testing it throughout the weeks, in the end I noticed that that little glass protection made quite some problems to the camera. This was very strange to me because I've seen lots of people using some glass protection on the cameras and never heard about any problem. But in my case, when I tried, for example, to take some photos to that subject which was too far away, like the sky, the clouds, or even the stars at night, the iPhone just couldn't focus anything, and so the photo was completely blurred. But at first I didn't thought it was due to that glass protection, just because I thought it was completely normal to put it on the cameras. But in the end I just said, okay, so I need to try to pull it off and see if everything gets better. And yeah, that was the problem. It was so strange because I just wanted to protect the cameras, but now that I know that that little glass causes problems to the autofocus, I cannot use it, and so I need to leave the camera as they are. And the second problem about the camera on the iPhone was still about the autofocus, but not due to the glass protection on the cameras. In fact, if I try to focus on the camera something that is so close to the camera, the iPhone just cannot focus it. And so I thought, okay, so this may be a serious problem, but I made some researches on the internet and discovered that Apple has changed the minimum distance of focus to subjects. For all those of you who don't know it, every camera, every sensor from a smartphone to an external camera like the one I'm recording with have a minimum distance to which they can focus. And on this iPhone 14 Pro, the minimum distance of the focus of the main camera is of 20 centimeters. And I've seen that on the old iPhones, every old iPhones, the minimum distance is of 15 centimeters. And so this is not a proper technical problem about the iPhone, but is just something mechanical of the camera itself. And so yeah, I just need to deal with it. And so in some situations when I want to try to focus something, for example on the table or just in front of me, I need to just be careful that this iPhone cannot focus something which is too near to the camera. And in this case I really thought this was a problem, just because in the past I've just tried lots of iPhones from, for example, my friends, and never saw this minimum distance focus problem. But you know, on this iPhone it's something normal, and so yeah, I just need to keep and deal with it. So now, apart from all these problems I told you, I have to be honest, and this iPhone is really an amazing product. First of all, the performances are great, like the screen, even the dynamic island on the front is great. Lots of people don't like it, but in my case I really enjoy using it. And the real main reason why I went on the iPhone is for the camera. And so now you may be saying, okay, you wanted an iPhone, but why a Pro model and not just a base model? Because the base model iPhone, like a normal 14 iPhone, have all great performances, screen and even camera. But you know, the real reason why I decided to go on a Pro model, so in this case on a 14 Pro instead of a normal 14, is exactly of the camera. In particular for the presence of the Apple ProRAW photo format. For all those of you who don't know, Apple since the iPhone 12 Pro, if I'm not wrong, has introduced only on the Pro models the Apple ProRAW, which is a file format for the photos, which gives you the possibility to work better in post edits on the photos themselves. So it's like a RAW file, like it happens on the normal external cameras. So apart from the JPEG, this iPhone can take these Apple ProRAW photos, which have lots of more informations, and so in the end it gives lots of more possibilities with the camera. In the last weeks of testing of using this iPhone, I really loved these three cameras, because I took lots of photos in cities, in the mountains, even during the night to the Milky Way, and as you're seeing from these photos. And if you think about it, taking a photo to a starry night with only a phone is something literally gorgeous. A few years ago we couldn't do it, but now it's possible with the actual cameras. And so yeah, I have to say that my experience with these cameras is literally, you know, almost perfect. I'm not saying that an iPhone can replace an external camera, but you know, in lots of situations having an iPhone is already great for some photos. And even in my case, in lots of situations I don't have my big camera with myself, and so having an iPhone and having a product and a device that gives me the possibility to take amazing photos is already great. And so I really enjoyed snapping lots of photos with this iPhone. But now some of you may be asking, okay, so you want an iPhone, but why the 14 Pro rather than the new Apple iPhone 15 Pro? So the reason why I'm not going probably on the 15 Pro is just because I believe that at the moment these two iPhones are almost the same on lots of things. And so yeah, I'm already really satisfied with this 14 Pro, and at the moment I don't see the necessity to switch to the latest model. So yeah, I just believe that this one, for me, in my case, it's ready, perfect and over than sufficient. And yeah, we are almost at the end of this video, but before, I wanted to tell you that this iPhone represents even a sort of a new possibility for me of creating contents here on YouTube, just because, for example, I'm gonna use it for vlogs. Like I posted a few weeks ago the video Chasing the Sunset, and the first part is recording only with this iPhone, and I would say that the result is quite fine. And secondly, I would like to start bringing some contents about smartphone photography, just because, you know, with my old Android phone I couldn't take some great photos from the smartphone, and so now that I have an iPhone, this iPhone 14 Pro, I believe that that's a great base to create contents about smartphone photography, which probably most of you will like, and so just subscribe if you don't want to miss them. And the third thing and the third content I would like to bring about this iPhone is a sort of a review, not a general review of this product, but a review and a video only dedicated to the photography and the videography side, so everything about these cameras. And maybe this point is in maybe I'm gonna bring a video, a comparison between this iPhone 14 Pro and the 15 Pro cameras. I don't know if I will make it, but you know, just stay tuned, because I don't know, maybe I will bring it in the next months. And so that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if yes, leave a like, and maybe if you want, leave a comment. So I would say that's all from this one. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Oh, and if you made it here till the end of this video, just remember to subscribe to not miss the upcoming contents, since lots of videos are coming in the next period. And guys, yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye.